Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Sorry, would have been here a lot sooner to talk about the ratings, viewership numbers, whatever you want to call it. Got pulled over by the police, had to take care of those matters. Who would think, man? I swear to God, police nowadays, they got no motherfucking lives, bro. I swear to God. I can say it now. I ain't saying nothing to this shit when he was right there. You know, like, I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna nod my head. Yes, sir. All right, I'll be there, sir. But as soon as you leave, pussy ass nigga, yeah, bro, you better keep on walking. You better keep on. I ain't say nothing. Have a good day, sir. Have a good day, sir. All right. Hope you walk in on your wife. Nah, but real talk, this man pulled me over because I crossed over the apex, improper changing of lanes. Man, you eyeing me that fucking hard and shit, bro. It was a traffic jam and I crossed over. Like, you know the little dividers that when you're coming onto the expressway, it's like a divider. Well, at least over here, it's on Ronald Reagan. There's like a divider. You have to, man, it was a traffic jam, and I crossed over that bitch to get back on the actual main highway, and he caught my ass. Whatever, man. Niggas eyeing me down. But no, let's get back to what we was talking about, though. So I have yet to actually look at the ratings. I'm actually reacting to this live, and live in color. Let's see. So we're gonna read this, and then we'll just take it from here. I gotta use Ringside News because I can't really find it. You know what? Now let me just go straight to WrestleNomics. Fuck that. I'm pretty sure I got WrestleNomics. Fuck it, let's just do Ringside News, fuck it. The viewership number was, there we go. The viewership numbers for the May 22nd episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS have been released, and this will certainly lead to a lot of discussions among wrestling fans. Once again, according to WrestleNomics, the May 22nd edition of AEW Dynamite drew 713,000 viewers and achieved a rating of 0.24. That was from this is an increase from last week's episode of 672,000. Didn't they get 713,000 a couple of weeks ago? Or am I tripping? Let me look that up real quick. Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was 711,000 that they got. That was on May 8th, so that was 2 weeks ago. Okay, I got that confused with 711. So okay, it's an increase. Now, granted, and one may argue. See, here's my thing, because you leave it up to the AEW fanboys. They probably look at this and they say to themselves that this is a win. And it's not to say that this isn't a win in the sense that it's an L. They did increase from last week. The question is though, like, where's the median? Where's the average? You know what I mean? Like, you did increase, which is a good thing, but I mean, like, where you were standing at, I mean, what is an increase from 677,000? You know what I mean? Like, once you get to a certain point, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up. Am I right? But nevertheless, though, an increase is an increase, and this is all stemming off of last week. I would assume, as far as attention, as far as people coming to watch the show. You know, the funny thing is too, I think I seen something. I don't think any segment. I think they give me a breakdown. Hang on for a second. I think I seen the breakdown where it was telling me where is it? I just seen it. You know what? Believe it or not, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I can't believe I'm actually trying to go to this right now. I think I seen this on Reddit. Believe it or not, as crazy as that may sound, I think I seen this on Reddit when they broke down the yeah, there it goes right here. Actually, they said on each quarter, the first quarter with Trent Beretta and Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay, it was at 794,000, right? Then it dropped on the quarter two, which was the end of the tag team match with the post-match breakdown and the Young Bucks backstage, right? Then it went down even further, the 706,000, and the recap for Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné in their promo package, and Jericho after the three-way that happened with for the FTW championship in the last quarter. The fourth quarter one, that went up slightly to 710,000 with Takeshita and the start of the Swerve and Nick Wayne match. Quarter 5 was the post-match stuff with Swerve and Christian. That went down drastically, actually, 698,000. Wow, that's a pretty. I mean, think about it. They started off the night with 794,000, then it went right down to 698,000. Malachi Black and Kyle O'Reilly with the whole stuff with the Brood and shit, that all equaled out to 688,000. Tony Storm and Mariah May versus Paige and Harley Quinn, or whatever her fucking name is, Cameron, whatever her name is, that got the lowest viewership number of the night at 631,000 views. No shock there. You had the BCG, what the fuck is it? Oh yeah, Bullet Club Gold. They had their promo backstage with the start of the Bryan Danielson and Satnam Singh. That was at 693,000, and then it shot back up for the overrun at 702,000 with the stuff with the flamethrower and shit. So I'm noticing, even though it was like they went up from a sharp, so they went up, but it seems like there's no segment on here, at least from what I'm looking at. I'll link it for you guys if you want to read it. I don't see any segment that's over 800,000. So their median averaged out to around 713,000, but still no 800,000 at all. As a matter of fact, looking at this right here, it seems like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. Okay, so it almost equals out as far as a mix of 700 and 600,000. So yeah, the median, if you look at the numbers, just staring at it, damn sure looks like it can actually equal out to 713,000. So it seems like right now that they're about to really start the so I'll put it to you this way. Unless something drastically happens, I can damn sure see this and say to myself that, okay, your new median is going to damn sure be 600,000 by the time we get to the end of summer. That's going to be your new median, which I guess when you look at it like that, nah, I was going to try to spin that and try to make it a good thing and say something along the lines of like, oh, well, at least you now know what your audience is as far as like your diehard fans. But really, you can't even tell, because it's like it says 677,000 last week, and then it goes back up to 713,000 this week. And it's like, I mean, I know most people probably be like, let's just wait till after the NBA to see where the numbers actually land at from a median standpoint. But I guess I don't know, man. I don't know. I look at these numbers and I do say to myself, like, okay, well, it looks like it's trending more down. Even if it looks like the numbers went up slightly compared to last week, it still looks like it's trending down, and it looks like 600,000 is going to be their new median. No different than how we were looking at the numbers a couple of years ago when it was at like 900,000, and we were seeing that it was trending down to 800,000. And you start looking at the actual numbers in itself, and they were playing out just like this, with a couple of 900,000s on the lower end and the higher end, and then a bunch of 800,000s, which kind of looks like it's trending down to 800,000, very similar to how these numbers look like. So I wouldn't be surprised that by the end of the summer, 600,000 is going to be its new median. Probably might even once in a while hit 500,000, but that's if they consistently keep doing what they're currently doing at the moment. So just to recap last night, kind of give you the bit of the Dragon Ball Z lore here, right? The things that we seen last night, was there anything that really captivated anyone? For me personally, the only thing that really necessarily captivated me was the Edge and Malachi Black stuff, because it actually told a legitimate story. And personally speaking, I look at guys like Edge and Malachi Black and they're interesting characters. The only thing and only gripe that I have with the match is the fact that they have a championship attached to it, where I don't necessarily see that's, necessary. But that just goes for every other match on this card, as far as having someone with a championship belt, when in reality, they could just have a match and it's not really necessary. I could see something like a Will Ospreay and a Roderick Strong having a championship belt, as far as a contestant with the match, but Kazuchika Okada, they don't need it. Edge and Malachi Black, they don't need it. It's just a bunch of guys who you look at them and you would think, at least for AEW, they should be in contention for the AEW World Championship, and they shouldn't have any championship belts distracting them from that matter, right? But then again, if you look at AEW, it's very hard to tell who is in the main event scene, especially with how everybody keeps going in and then going out and then going in and then going out. The fact that Samoa Joe hasn't even been referenced yet, that just kind of speaks volumes to you, right? It's just like it's a rotating door without reminding you that there was a guy formerly in this position. I'm not even sure if Samoa Joe's going to be on the pay-per-view. Is he? I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like it. Maybe there was an injury. I don't know. But he's not going to be on the card from the looks of it. Actually, let's do that in real time. Is Samoa Joe going to be on the card for Double or Nothing? And if he isn't, that just kind of proves my point right there. Hang on for a second. I'm going to look this up live. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see Samoa Joe nowhere near this card. And again, I can't speak on the fact as to maybe he's injured. Maybe he decided to take a hiatus after the show, even though he was on the show, like, what was it, last week or a week before, when he was, encountering, what's his name? Shibata and Hook backstage. But yeah, one minute you're main eventing for the World Championship against Swerve Strickland with your title being on the line. That's your belt, and your main event against Swerve Strickland. And then the next minute, you're not even on the next pay-per-view card. What does that tell you? But you know who is on the card, though? Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I'm sorry, and it's not even on the line. It's an eliminator match. They're not even doing it. It's an eliminator match, which you know that most likely Konosuke is going to win, just to set up Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita for the IWGP Championship on the episode of Dynamite. You see, this is what I'm talking about. The way that he thinks, the way that Tony Khan thinks. It's like this company has no identity. And that's why I think, I'm sorry. It does have an identity. The identity is just wrestling. The identity is just the actual choreographed moves. But I mean, in the sense of having an identity where people can reflect on and they know what they're going to get themselves into coming into a show every week. Nah, it doesn't have an identity. And it's really concerning. And I look at things like that and I say to myself, that's the reason why you're not really attaching yourself to people. And this is why your numbers keep drastically going up and going down, but staying within a close proximity of your next median bracket going down. What I mean by that is that even though it's at 713,000, I wouldn't be surprised if it does go up again next week. But I guarantee you it's not going to go above 750,000. But then again, it wouldn't shock me if it went down even further next week. But it wouldn't be surprising if it doesn't go past 650,000. They're right now in that new bracket, 650,000 to 750,000. And you could break through that. You know what I mean? You can absolutely break through that, but it's a lot harder to break through the 750,000 versus it's a lot easier to go past the 650,000. See, the more and more you keep reflecting off of what the fuck the guys at the Elite are doing, because make no mistake about it, people, the audience capture is stemming off of what happened last week going into this show. Obviously, the things that played out this week is going to go into the things that are played out this week, that's going to tie into what happened last week. But the initial audience that came into this was 794,000. That's the initial audience, right? And by the end of it, if you don't take into account the overrun number or anything like that, what was it again? That's what I like to look at. That's, the thing to focus on. Taking away from the 5-minute overrun, if you take away the 5-minute overrun, right? If you take just into context the show at its bare foundation, they started off at 794,000 and they ended up at 693,000. I mean, what do you say about that, man? Again, there's no positive way to spin this. You can take it as a W and say that it's an increase, but like you're talking about being stuck in quicksand and you happen to now get your neck above the sand. You know what I mean? Your body, your whole entire body is still stuck in the quicksand and you're still sinking. Just because you can now breathe doesn't mean you're not out of trouble. You're still stuck in quicksand. That's how I look at that from a metaphoric standpoint. And there are going to have to be changes. We're going into Double or Nothing, right? Now, obviously, as far as the Anarchy Arena stuff goes, I'm pretty sure, obviously, that's going to be a W for the Elite guys. But doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Because the build to this show has been surrounding around what the hell they're doing. As a matter of fact, looking at this entire card, it kind of feels like there's a bunch of people. I'll put it to you this way. Looking at the card in itself, honestly, it feels like Swerve Strickland is the one that is. Okay, check it out. Obviously, the Elite guys, that's the main catalyst as far as the show is concerned. Not Swerve Strickland, who's the World Heavyweight Champion, who should be the figurehead for your company. People will say that he's the biggest draw, or he's the one that is supposed to be getting the responsibility for the draw. I'm not even too sure of that if you're not putting too much focus on him. But look at this, though. When you look at this entire card, honestly, one can make an argument that there are 3 matches that are way more built up than the match involving the world champion. You can argue, well, it's not even an argument, outright, Anarchy in the Arena is the #1 built show. But you could damn sure argue that Adam Copeland and Malachi Black has more built than the match involving the world champion. You can argue that another company's world championship belt has more build than the world champion in itself. One can make a strong argument that you have your world champion having to vie for the number 2 belt spot between 2 other potential number 2 spots. And again, one of those belts, they're not even in your company. That belt isn't even in your company. But one thing is for sure, it ain't the priority. It ain't the draw. And that's a huge, huge problem. Because what do you tell me as a professional wrestling fan who's coming to check out your program for the first time? Now, it's already bad enough that I'm seeing a bunch of twinks run around flamethrowers pretending that they're actual badasses. But now you're telling me that you're a world champion? Fuck, if I blink, I missed your world champion. As a matter of fact, because he doesn't show up so much, you don't book him throughout the cards, and it is so ridiculous. It's such a ludicrous way of actually booking. You know, it's so funny. If you missed like 15 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour last night, you didn't even notice that Swerve Strickland was on the show. That's how lack of booking you've put behind this man. But he's supposed to be the focal point, and the focal point is supposed to be getting the stories that's supposed to be pulling the wagon for your show. Yet it's a bunch of twinks running around with flamethrowers that's doing it, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And I will hope that coming out of this Sunday that it will be a substantial boost, maybe around 740,000, 730,000, I would presume, because we are coming out of the heels of Double or Nothing, right? But I put nothing past AEW. I put nothing past Tony Khan as far as the decisions that they make, and it makes me wonder if people necessarily gives a shit coming out of Double or Nothing. But I can tell you right now that I don't see it going over 800,000. There's no reason to. And those days are gone as far as 800,000. Your days were gone getting 1 million infrequently. Those are gone. 900,000 frequently. Those are gone. 800,000 infrequently. Those are gone. And it looks like if you keep pushing to what you're doing right now, 700,000 is going to be a thing of the past. You got to look up. Don't take this as a victory. This is not a victory. All right, this is not a victory at all. You went from an F to a D minus. This is not a victory at all, my boy. And I know some of these AEW fanboys are going to try to rub it in people's faces. And it's like, your mentality, man, the way you think, that's why your company is going to end up going out of business one of these days. If you keep it up with that mentality, you know, you can only decline so much. You are already at the bottom of the barrel. If you decline even more, if you go around the 300,000 range, right? What is that going to do for Collision? What is that going to do for Rampage? And then overall, cost production, all these things that go into why you even dump money into a company like this as far as ad revenue is considered, as far as what you're paying for in regards to cost production, as far as what you mitigated inside of a contract. These are things that you have to take into context and think about. Some of these wrestling fans or these AEW fanboys don't think about. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just the only one. Maybe people can be like, oh, you're overthinking this right now. Okay, I guess I'm overthinking it in the end of the day, but I'm going to keep overthinking it because someone has to at least think about it. I don't know. Call me crazy. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll leave all the links down in the description box if you want to follow along and go through the numbers once again, or I don't know, jack off to them. I don't fucking know what you do in your personal life. Let me get the fuck up out of here and go check out this court date and see what the fuck's going on with this. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching y'all later. Deuces, P-Eyes.